Hi everyone, my name is Rafael Sandi and I'm currently a student at University of Padua under the IISMA program. In this university, I took the law faculty, and the law course that I took is International, European, and Transnational Criminal Law. And in those courses, we talk mostly about international law and how the ICC handles it. But let's talk about the things that kept me up at night. What is actually international law, and why is there a need to have an international law? Citing from the Britannica Dictionary, international law is the body of legal rules, norms, and standards that apply between sovereign states and other entities that are legally recognized as international actors. Despite countries having their own jurisdiction or authority, sometimes there are cases where a crime has been done that impacts not just their regions, but also affects internationally. Simply put, international law is laws for international crimes that affects international parties. But now, the things that makes a crime to be considered as international is 2 points. The first one is it involves international parties, such as the countries, the person, perpetrators, the victims, etc. And the second one is it acknowledged by the ICC as the 4 core of international crime. What are the 4 crimes that are internationally recognized? The first one is genocide, second one is crimes against humanity, third one is war crimes, and the fourth is the crimes of aggression. Let's have an example. Let's say if there are cases where a president kills their citizens under a program to minimize substance abuse or drugs spreading on their countries. Is it lawful or not for the president to kill them? If it isn't, what can we determine the crimes? Is it genocide? Is it war crimes? Or is it anything else? This example is taken from the current reality we live in, which is the case that are now being looked by the ICC or the International Criminal Court to be handled. Now, in our class or in our courses, the professor asks us to classify it first without any help. Then we are shown that classifications on whether the crimes is a genocide or against human rights or the other types of internationally recognized are written in the Statute of Rome. This is the statute that creates the international body called the ICC or International Criminal Court, and also the organization that handles the trial courts of these crimes. Like mentioned before, ICC have the authority on managing these crimes, but it also has limited powers. We also need to know the current status quo. There are only countries that are still the member of the statute that are allowed for the ICC to handle the investigation on their countries or on their cases. While in this case, the Philippines, who ratified the statute before, have withdrawn their membership on 2019 before the investigation can be done. Now what? As a student in this course, we practice to have a critical thinking to provide defenses on the prosecution side or the defendant. Is it still allowed for us, the ICC, to handle this case knowing that they withdrawn their membership on 2019? Or is it allowed for us as the country of the Philippines to not cooperate at all? Or is there any articles or clauses on the Statute of Rome that perhaps may allow the ICC to still investigate there? Can we really determine the intent or mens rea of the perpetrator? Or should we just sanction the dummies or people who work under the order of their boss? Because first of all, we need to know the current status quo, just like what the professor has said. In these practices or in this course, there are a lot of backgrounds and programs that back up these cases. That is why, as a student, we need to know, before we create our own decisions, the reasonings on why these cases even exist or why that we need to defend this type of cases. In conclusion, laws are there to set an example. International crimes or international law set an international example. Now, I hope you found this video interesting and driven yourself to study more about international law or how the international body handles the international cases or problems in the world. Thank you.